Hey Bible lovers, I'm Tim Nichols, and I'm here to bring you your Nichols Worth. And today from Lockman, we have the SCR Prime and the NASB 1995 that's been long anticipated. One thing that's really encouraging about this is it's Lockman expressing a commitment to the NASB 1995 by bringing it into their Prime premium line. So let's take a look at this thing. I absolutely love it. First, let's check out the cover. When you look at the cover, you can see it's got a nice grain. I'm just guessing that's a stamped grain. I'm not positive about it, but it does appear to be stamped. Really nice perimeter stitching. When you get to the spine, they've done some things since their first editions that I really appreciate. First of all, this is stamped in really nice and deep. Their first couple editions, that wasn't the case. And what that's going to do, it's going to allow for you to handle this thing, and the gold gilding is not going to wear off as easy. The spine hubs also protect that a little bit. It also looks like they did a little bit more tool work on those spine hubs, which is really nice. So I like this. A couple really nice double-sided satin ribbons. Got to appreciate that. Now, one thing I want to show you. When you compare this to the liner of some of their previous editions, you're going to see a difference. I don't know why that is, but this is a little more dull and kind of stiff, where this one is a little bit more floppy and kind of shiny. But the perimeter gilt line looks nice. Corners look really nice. Lockman has done a wonderful job in bringing their new Bibles into the premium lineup and really giving them the treatment that they deserve. Really, really nice. Once you get into this layout, of course, this is going to have your presentation pages and all the things that are standard in your Bibles. But this is really cool because this gives you the single column layout. It is left justified. It's a 32 GSM paper. The ghosting on this is not too bad. The text doesn't creep too far in the gutter. However, with the edge-lined edition, you're going to see that the verses are going to kind of go down in there a little bit. This is the 2020, and you can see that it opens a little bit flatter, and those verses are kind of out a little bit more. So with the edge lining, you're going to work on that. Eventually that's going to break in and it won't be so bad, but even still, the text is well out of the gutter. Love this 10.5 point font, 2K Denmark set. One thing about this I really like. Now, I've never had a judge. The original judge, it had a line here, it had a little bit more of a wide margin, and the references and note went straight down the page. One thing I like about this is they have the references on the top and then they have the notes on the bottom. Now, one thing I do have to compare is I have the Zondervan NASB 1995 single column reference in a very similar layout, very similar font. Everything is close. Now this has a different way it manages the verses. This is a verse by verse, but it kind of tucks the verses in right here versus having them on the side of the page like this. But there are some things I like about this one, and then there are some things I really like about this one. Both of them do some things very well. Number one, this one has beautiful red accents. I really like those. I think that is a great touch. Anytime you're going to have accents on your pages, I really think that adds some beauty and aesthetic pleasure to it. But they put the references and the notes together. Now this isn't hard to navigate because you'll have a reference here and a note here at the same time. So not too bad, but this is excellent because it gives you this big separation between the notes. Now, a lot of people have fussed about the lack of margin space on this. However, between the notes and references, look at that. That is ample. I'm going to say about 2 inches of free margin space, and it's going to be available on almost every page because most pages aren't going to have that big old long list of references. This is full references, full notes. That's about as close as you're going to get to not having a lot of margin space. And this being single column, you don't have to worry about your notes being on the wrong side of the text where it would be with the double column, where you would need that inside margin. You just have this little margin space, which really works adequately for the amount of verses that you have here, even in its smallest spot. But in some places, you're going to have rather large, wide open margin space here. So I really don't think that you're losing a whole lot giving up the margin space that the judge once had, or the previous edition of this once had. I also like the lack of the line there. I think it looks a little cleaner. Another thing with the Zondervan that I think the Lockman really handles well is when you get to the beginning of a book, they have your book introductions here. Now, how does Lockman handle book introductions? If you're familiar with any of their Bibles, you know that they put them in the back, and I actually like this. I like the fact that you have the benefit of book introductions, but you also don't have them in the way. They come after your concordance dictionary, and here's the book introductions. They're really brief, single paragraph for each book. So I actually think that's kind of a cool touch because you don't have the introductions at the beginning of each book kind of interrupting your reading experience. You just go book to book to book, and then if you want to see the introductions, you just slide onto the back. Of course, you're going to see some other features in the back that you're used to in your Lockman Bibles. You're going to have your topical index of the Bible, and then after your topical index of the Bible, that's when you're going to go into your book introductions. After your book introductions, that's when you're going to have a little Read the Bible in a Year plan. You're also going to have your Miracles of Jesus. So some of the standard things, the parables of Jesus, miracles of Jesus, important events in the life of Jesus in the Gospels, and then of course you're going to have your maps. Edge-lined, really nice. This is an excellent, well done Bible. I really appreciate the fact that Lockman is taking some of their old layouts and introducing them and giving them new life in the NASB 1995 and in the NASB 2020. The advantage of getting the Prime, even though it's quite a bit more expensive than the Leathertex, is this is going to have overcast stitching. Now, I had trouble finding where the overcast stitching is on this. I believe it's a little more deep-seated than we're used to in some of our Bibles, to where it's not overcast kind of out on the signature. It's more deeper in the gutter, so it's more difficult to detect. I think I saw it somewhere early in Genesis, but it is a little hard to find, but I guarantee you it's in there. That's going to give this block some extra security. It's also got a generous little yap, excellent art gilding. The gilding on this thing looks good. The art gilding on it looks very good. So this is a winner. So if you were concerned that Lockman was not committed to the 1995, you can put those concerns to rest. Because now not only have they brought it to the Prime collection, but they also have some compact Bibles and some different things that they've brought into play in the NASB 1995. So I believe it's here to stay. God bless you. Keep calm. Jesus on. This is your Nichols Worth.